Hey everyone, today I'm working with Alaska seafood, but particularly this beautiful Alaskan halibut. One of my favorite fish to work with, prized for its gorgeous, pristine, flaky, firm, white flesh, and I'm gonna show you how to make perfect, crispy fried fish. So I have these beautiful halibut fillets. You can cut them up however you'd like. I'm gonna go into strips here. What I love about this Alaskan halibut is it's absolutely delicious when it's in season, but it's just as good and available year-round frozen. I like cutting up the halibut into small pieces like this. It's perfect for sharing with friends or family on your next seafood Sunday. We're gonna transfer all of our halibut to a tray here. So one of my tricks whenever frying fish is I always like to salt it and let it sit in the refrigerator for about an hour before using it. While the fish is sitting, the salt's going to pull out any of that moisture. It's going to firm up the flesh of the halibut, and it's going to make sure we have a beautifully perfect fried fish. All right, while our halibut is salting in the fridge, we're gonna get started on our batter. First, a little bit of cornstarch, some baking powder, salt, and regular all-purpose flour. We're gonna whisk this together. A little bit of white pepper, some fennel pollen. If you don't have fennel pollen, you can use ground fennel seed. One more whisk. I'm using a little bit of sparkling water here. The bubbles are gonna make the batter nice and light, but of course you could always use beer if you want that flavor. Secret ingredient is a little bit of vodka. The alcohol is gonna help the batter stay super crispy. And then we're gonna whisk this together. The consistency you're looking for here is heavy cream. You should see the batter ripple right off of your whisk. So the Alaskan halibut has this beautiful, tender, flaky white flesh. To pair with that, once it's crispy fried, I'm gonna make a zabagnone, which is an Italian egg sauce, normally served sweet, but in this case with a few tweaks and adjustments, we're gonna make a savory version. So for our zabagnone here, we're starting off with a few egg yolks. Normally this sauce would have some sweet Marsala wine. I'm gonna use Sambuca, which is an anise liqueur. It's Italian. If you don't have this, you could use a dry vermouth or a little bit of vinegar. Adding to that some lemon juice, a little bit of sugar. Classic zabagnone has lots of sugar. We're just gonna add a little bit to balance the acid from the lemon juice. Last but not least, a pinch of salt. And then we're gonna whisk this together and bring it over to our double boiler. So for our double boiler here, super simple, just a pot with some water simmering right in the bottom. We're gonna set our bowl on top. Just make sure it's not touching the water, and then we're gonna whisk. Now it's real important that we're whisking the entire time. We wanna slowly cook the eggs and incorporate lots of air. This is gonna give us a nice light and rich zabagnone. Make sure to watch your temperature. If it starts cooking or curdling the eggs, your water is too hot. We're not looking for scrambled eggs here. If you notice that your eggs are getting too hot, you could always lift up the bowl, let a little bit of that steam come out, and then put the bowl back down. You can see here after just a few minutes, the eggs have thickened up and aerated beautifully, leaving these ribbons. So now we've been whisking this for about 8 minutes altogether, and you can see just how thick those eggs have become. We have this beautiful, rich, velvety egg yolk sauce that's gonna be perfect for our Alaska halibut. So with my oil here while it's heating up, I never fill up my pan more than halfway. Always, as a safety precaution, whenever frying, they always have to account for all of those bubbles and pop-ups that may happen. I have my Alaska halibut here. It's been salted for about an hour, sitting in the fridge. Perfect, beautiful, and ready to batter. So now with our halibut, we're gonna take one piece at a time, dipping it into our batter, letting all of the excess batter fall off of the fish, and then very gently and carefully placing it down into the oil, slowly releasing it until it floats. A set of kitchen tongs work really nicely for carefully and gently lowering the fish into the oil. Once the fish is golden brown, you know the Alaska halibut is perfectly cooked. I like to land them right onto a wire rack. That'll let any excess oil drip down. One of my tricks for letting the steam escape, ensuring the fish stays extra crispy. Since we've already put salt on the fish, we don't have to worry about adding any additional salt out of the fryer, but I always like to finish it with a little bit of chili flake and fennel pollen. If you don't have fennel pollen, you could dust a little more of that ground fennel from earlier. So now we have our crispy fried halibut. I always like serving it on some crinkled up paper, and I finish my Avioni with some fresh chopped chives and parsley. And there you have it. First things first, let's give this a crunch test. We have this beautifully battered and fried halibut from Alaska Seafood. Flaky, tender, beautiful white flesh fish. Absolutely delicious, super crispy crust, perfectly cooked, perfectly fried. I'm in love. Let's try out some of our Avioni. That's delicious. Perfect complement to a beautiful fish.